Hello out there, everybody. Manny here at Area 503. And I hope you all have been well since our last video. Today I have some unexplained sightings to share with you guys. Our first sighting took place over Malibu, California. Check this out. Gee, it sure is windy out there. Computer, see if you can't clean that up just a little bit for us. Thank you. My initial reaction is that this might be some kind of a missile test or possibly a jet of some kind. Computer, get the time and location of this sighting from the metadata information and scan public databases to see if there is a commercial aircraft anywhere in the vicinity.
There were no known commercial aircraft in the area at the time of the sighting.
Okay, so it wasn't a commercial plane, but we still can't rule out a military plane or a small rocket or a missile test of some kind. And of course, if it was one of those, it wouldn't be in the public records. So we should definitely consider that this is a man-made craft of some kind. But it does look odd to me, the way that it seems to just appear out of the clouds and then disappear just as suddenly. I mean, if this was a missile or a plane, you wouldn't expect it and its contrail to just disappear like that. I suppose it could be a small missile test that was aborted mid-flight. That might explain why the exhaust just disappears. But if that were the case, you would expect that we'd see something falling out of the sky, and we just don't see anything here. You know, the way that this thing is moving reminds me of an old piece of footage that I saw once. Computer, pull up the F-15 fighter training footage, clip 23 Delta. You see how when the jet is banking, you get these momentary contrails that appear and then quickly disappear? I wonder if that's what we're seeing in the Malibu footage. A fighter that is banking quickly and leaves a momentary contrail, then shoots off into the clouds. That's my best guess as for what's going on here, at least as far as earthly explanations go. But the truth is, I just can't say for sure what that is. What do you guys think it is? Let me know in the comments section down below. And we'll move along to our next sighting, which took place over the Czech Republic. Let's take a look. A witness was outside stargazing and saw this strange UFO passing by overhead. They tried to snap a few pictures as the thing whizzed by, and it must have been going quickly because they were only able to capture 2 images of this UFO before it passed by. And it kind of looks like this thing changed directions, but it's hard to tell because the camera position seems to have changed as well. Computer, bring up the 2 images side by side. Using the wall as a point of reference, line up the 2 images, then overlay and display. Well that's not quite right. These stars should be lined up and they're not. Okay then. Computer, bring up both images side by side, and using the stars as a point of reference, resize and reposition, then overlay and display. Aha, so that gives us a better idea as to the movement of this object. Where it looked like before that it had changed its course, now you can clearly see that that was a trick of perceived retrograde motion, and that whatever this thing is, it was moving in a straight line. So we'll go ahead and adjust this image here. Now, whatever this thing is, it was moving in a straight line, so maybe it's a satellite or the ISS. But I can't explain why there are 2 images of the UFO in the second frame and only 1 in the first frame. Maybe it has something to do with the newer phones using stereoscopic or multiple cameras to image photos nowadays. This camera imaging technique uses input from 2 or more cameras to create a photograph. So it's possible that the 2 cameras detected the same object in 2 slightly different places, and that when the phone composited the image, it drew it as 2 separate UFOs, side by side. I don't know for sure, but that's my best guess. What do you all think? Satellite or UFO? Let me know in the comments section below. And we'll move along to our next sighting, which took place over the United Kingdom. This is a very curious sighting of a blue sphere-type UFO that seems to be shifting or bending the light around it somehow. You know, guys, when I first looked at this footage, I was quick to dismiss it as one of the many dots or orbs that I've come across. But the more I look at this sighting, the more intrigued I get. I'm just simply at a loss to explain what this UFO is and why it's shifting and pixelating like that. It really is some strange footage, and I've never seen anything quite like it. Look at the way that it appears to pixelate. It's damned strange. Wow, this is so bizarre. What could it be? It made me wonder if this was someone filming a computer monitor or a television. But when they pan out, you can see that the footage is live and that they're shooting outdoors. So that can't be the case. It's damned strange, and so I want to post a friendly challenge to you all. I challenge you to go out on the internet and find a piece of footage that I can verify that looks like this one, where it pixelates and ripples. If any one of you can find a piece of similar footage and post it in the comments section below, I'll pin your comment and feature you in a follow-up video. So the challenge has been made and the gauntlet thrown, and if you want a chance to be in an Area 503 video, get out there and start looking for UFO videos that look like this one. Alright, I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. For now, this one is going to stay in the UFO files, and we'll move along to our next sighting, which took place over Chicago, Illinois. A family was on an outdoor adventure when they stopped to snap a few photographs. Later, when they viewed the photos, they noticed this strange cylindrical object in one of the frames. It looks like a wine cork to me. But honestly, we have next to zero information here because the witnesses never noticed the UFO in person. The only thing that we know for sure is that the photos were taken about 2 to 3 seconds apart. So whatever this thing was, it was moving pretty fast. But what is it? It's clearly not an insect or a balloon. It's not an airplane or a drone. It mostly resembles, like I said before, a wine cork. But if it's a wine cork, that means that one of these people pitched this thing over their shoulder and the witness snapped the photo. And that would mean that these witnesses staged this UFO and were lying. And I really do like to assume the best in people, and there's no evidence to show that these people are lying. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and believe them. But what do you guys think? Is this a UFO or is it a wine cork? Leave your mark on the comment section below and we'll move along to our next sighting, which took place about 160 miles above the planet Earth. This one was sent to me by a friend of mine who had found a video someone made where they had spotted some UFOs during the SpaceX Transporter 1 launch, and they'd asked me what I thought about it. So I went and checked it out. Let's take a peek. Wow, that is some pretty interesting footage. If that's a UFO, it's massive, but I'm not convinced that it is a UFO. It looks like it's a part of the spacecraft, perhaps a fairing from the stage separation. Well, since they were nice enough to give us a link to the original live feed, I figured I'd go take a look for myself, since you guys know I love a good launch. So here we go. 5, 4,
3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition and liftoff.
Man, that always gets my blood pumping. So anyhow, the first part of the mission was normal, I guess. Well, as normal as you can get, launching a rocket into space. Let's fast forward this a little bit. Hey, did you guys see that? That was a stage separation like I was talking about earlier. We'll come back to that in a little bit. Okay, so here we are at the 6-minute mark. Let's push up on the side here. Hey, did you guys see that? More debris or UFOs? That's interesting. And here's another object flying by as well. I wonder if all these objects came off of the other larger one. We should see the bigger, rounded object that we saw earlier here in a second. Yep, there it is, right on schedule. There it is. So what is it? Well, I have an idea. Let's go back to that stage separation that I mentioned earlier. Here we can see the first and second stages of the rocket separating. And you see the fairing separate as well. The fairing is like a temporary shell that goes over a second stage to protect it during the first part of its journey. And then it breaks away when needed to separate the parts of the spacecraft. Oftentimes during these separations, you get debris like explosive bolts, and you'll see panels from the spacecraft as well, and occasionally you see the fairing itself. Like right here, when the fairing separates, you see the same semicircular shape as our UFO, because two of these pieces come together to make a housing over the spacecraft. And that's exactly what happened at 2 minutes and 59 seconds into the Transporter 1 mission. The fairings separated and debris drifted away. Then a few minutes later, it came drifting back by below. And that's what I think we saw here. And I have to tell you guys that I'm not at all mad at this person for posting this video and asking if it was a UFO. This seems like an innocent mistake and not an intentional hoax. I mean, they saw something weird, at least it was weird to them, so they asked about it. No harm in that. But I really do think that this was a rocket fairing and not a UFO. What do you guys think about this sighting? What do you think about all of these sightings? Head on down to the comment section down below and let me know. And you might as well give that subscription button a little tickle while you're down there if you haven't already. How else are you going to get a notification when the next Area 503 video comes out? I'll get y'all later. As always, this has been Manny at Area 503. And I wish you all the best until we meet again. And I am out of here to continue my search for universal truth.
The white dot on the left-hand side of the screen, that is the moon.